Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Recap, a guy's review. Here are your voicemails from your reaction to the finale of the Bachelor Season 25, Matt James. Let's get right into it. I've got so many, oh my gosh, guys, we have so many voicemails here from all over the world. Let's start in Texas.
Hi, this is Karen again from Huntsville, Texas. No, I'm just kidding. My name is actually Karen, but I'm from Massachusetts. I'm calling in to say that why are we trying to tell Matt, oh, he should have done this and he should have been with her and he should have. Do you know the emotional turmoil it takes to be able to pick somebody on national television and then find out their races later and then have the whole, like, America watching you? Like, that is so much already as a black man on top of all the things that he has to already deal with. So why are we like, no, he can do whatever he wants and she can go somewhere and learn by herself, like he said. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in from Massachusetts. You scared me there for a second. Everyone wants to be Karen. All right, here we go.
Hi, Dave. Hi, everyone on YouTube. It's L-Dog. I just wanted to remind everyone that there is going to be the 5-hour live stream on Thursday, and we're going to be dropping some merch designs, and I'm going to bust my petunia to make a bunch more. And we got to cut the crap. Let's go.
You cut the crap, L-Dog. All right, thank you so much, L-Dog. Yeah, we're so excited. Tomorrow's going to be fun. 5-hour live stream.
Hi, Dave. This is Leslie from California. Great show. I just discovered your channel not too long ago. But I just wanted to share my analysis as a university professor that actually teaches, the whole history and context of race and gender, sexuality, that the show just continues to fail at providing a space for these conversations. And it's more about the structure of the production and the show's intention that fails at getting us to a conversation that has social justice as its framework. So I think that, I see Rachael and I see my students who are first learning about the context of white supremacy and colonialism in the United States. So race is a new thing to a lot of white students like Rachael, but also Matt is very, very bad at politics because of gender. And so I think there's something missing with an analysis of both race and gender and even sexuality in a show that continues to just prioritize straight relationships. So I think the show has a lot to work on, but at the same time, we're all tuning in and hoping that it does evolve. So let's see where it goes. I think tonight's show was very interesting and maybe heading towards the right direction.
Well, thank you so much for that call. We had a professional there, Leslie in California. Hey, Leslie, I'd love to talk more with you about this. That sounds like such a, it's so fascinating to bring gender and race issues into this, plus national TV and how The Bachelor is botching it. Definitely call me back or text me or whatever. We'd love to get you back on.
Hey, Dave. It's Grace calling from Sacramento, California. I just find it crazy that people are saying that Matt really wasn't in love with her if he didn't plan on staying with her after finding out everything that has unraveled. And I find that very crazy because we wouldn't say the same thing of someone who had alcoholism or something like that. If staying with that person is going to put you in harm's way, whether that is physically or emotionally, and being with someone who is not going to confront their own racism as a person of color, to stay in that, no. As a Black woman, I can literally say no. And I am thankful and grateful and glad that Matt did not say yes to that. I think he was genuine in what he did, and it just breaks my heart to see him like this. And I really hope that he gets a good therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in, Grace. We always appreciate your phone calls. I guess the question is, you said that it's harmful if you're going to be with someone who's not going to confront their own racism as a person of color. So I guess the question is, does Matt not believe that she's confronted it to an ability where it's it's something where they can move forward from? But thank you so much for that phone call.
Hello, this is Ezekiel from Los Angeles, California. I've been watching your YouTube live streams for a while, and I wanted to say, when I was watching The Bachelor, what Matt did was a big mistake. He picked Rachael instead of Michelle. Michelle was a perfect candidate for Matt, and I saw the after the final rose ceremony. Emmanuel Alcho is an excellent host. He did a very great job, and it's amazing that the new Bachelorette is going to be Michelle. But I'm very disappointed in Matt on how he treated Michelle. He dumped Michelle, and Rachael got the final rose, which is very disappointing. And they broke up over those posts on the Antebellum South Party. And hopefully, Matt finds love after Bachelor, and I wish him the very best. Honestly, what he did to Michelle was not right, and she definitely deserves better.
I agree with you on that. Thank you so much for the phone call there, Ezekiel in Los Angeles. Yeah, I mean, Michelle.
Hello, this is Ezekiel.
Sorry, Michelle is going to be getting her own season of The Bachelorette, and hopefully she meets some guys that are emotionally they've dealt with their past, and they're kind of ready to go. They're ready to go. So hopefully she can find that, because clearly Matt's got to go get some help.
Hey, Dave. This is Victoria from Oklahoma. So, for my comments about The Bachelor, why is it so hard to believe that he dumped Rachael because she cannot bring herself to a level of empathy when it comes to Black people? I'm seeing so many comments from white people that, he needs therapy and something's wrong with him, and that he will always be single because he didn't want to stay with Rachael. So much forgiveness is being spat out, yet those that say these things can't forgive for themselves. I have personally given up friends for not showing interest in me and all my Blackness, as Matt said. The fact that he didn't hug her just showed me or told me that the conversations that they had were very heated and unforgivable. And in my personal opinion, I believe he was ready for love. He just didn't want it with someone who had racist tendencies, period. I mean, you can't have kids with a Black man and have kids that will possibly look Black and not be able to explain to them why they may be getting...
Oh, I lost you there. Sorry. Oh, no. I just lost your call. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad at doing this. I'm trying my best. Hold on. Let me get that phone call back. I was just pulling up this, we're talking to Victoria here. I was just pulling up this thing that Matt said he needed therapy. But of course, it's not up to us to watch this show and decide if someone else has mental problems.
Forgivable. And in my personal opinion, I believe he was ready for love. He just didn't want it with someone who had racist tendencies, period. I mean, you can't have kids with a Black man and have kids that will possibly look Black and not be able to explain to them why they may be getting mistreated just because of the way they look. Dave, and you talk about mental issues with Rachael, but how about the issues that every single Black person has gone through, especially everything leading up to the pandemic? They're so quick to give empathy for Rachael, but not for Matt, and it shows. But anyways, thanks for allowing us to have these conversations. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Victoria from Oklahoma calling. And look, I totally do appreciate the feedback and criticism that I don't have empathy for Matt. And I think what's important is when presented with how I'm coming off, to not just tell you that you're wrong for feeling that way, but to reiterate that I do empathize with Matt. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. The video I just released a couple hours ago kind of talks about, well, what's he supposed to do? The societal pressures are there, plus the internal pressures of having this in the back of your head, like, does she love not just me, but where I come from? And so I totally understand. I don't know. I did a 90-minute live stream, so I don't know if you caught all of it, but I thought I very much covered how much it sucks to be in Matt's position for so many reasons. And that's something I can't personally relate to, what he must be going through. So therefore, if you can't relate to something, you can't judge them for their decision. Whether or not he needs therapy, that's on him to decide where he wants to. I think everyone needs therapy. So I think that's always a good thing to try to get help. But I do appreciate your phone call. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Dave, but it's Miriam again from Pennsylvania. And all I wanted to say is, by the way, Dave, I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Very much. And your show on YouTube. I won't be watching The Bachelor no more
Oh, I'm sorry.
because Harrison won't be there, but I will be watching your show, Neal. Neal.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dave Neal. I will continue watching your show. I enjoy your show very much. But thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind. Oh, I'm going to cut you off at the end there. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you, Miriam. I appreciate you, and it's totally your right to decide to abandon The Bachelor. I mean, they are not looking out for their audience. They're just trying to play at our heartstrings and create drama. Where's the resolution?
Hey, Dave. This is Alyssa from OC. I just wanted to say I really appreciate your perspective and your commentary. I think it's very well balanced, and it's great that you're able to see from the different perspectives. And it is hard to, please everyone, but being able to kind of, I guess, see from both sides, it's very positive and it's great to be compassionate. So I appreciate what you're doing. I'm really enjoying it. It's a wild world out there, but we're doing what we can, and you're doing great. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate that. It's in response to the live stream when I got really frustrated with not one commenter, but there was one commenter who was saying I was attacking Matt, and that person actually sent me an email and apologized. And again, I'm not asking anyone to apologize. If it comes off that I'm attacking Matt, maybe that was just my initial reaction to watching him, dismissing Michelle. And then, other people have mentioned the way he's broken up with some people like Abigail and in the past. And then with Rachael, having someone who's just so what seems like willing to do the work, and he just says he can't be there for her for that. Those are his choices. Absolutely. I've got total empathy for
Hi, Dave. I'm calling
situation.
from Colorado. And I just want to say it's a shame that this wasn't a live after the final rose, because I feel like production and editing had a hand in cutting out some of this conversation. It was a pre-taped conversation. It was a pre-taped after the final rose. So I think there was a little fun in the editing room with some of this conversation. I feel like something was missing.
Great
Tell
point.
me what you think on your next chat.
Thank you so much for the phone call there in Colorado. You're absolutely right. And as we saw, Emmanuel came out and released a statement. If you didn't see that video, I made a video on it. Basically releases a video saying this is the favorite part of the show that he made this video right here. He said this is the favorite part of the show that they didn't air. So if they didn't air that, what else didn't happen that we don't know about? You know what I mean? Let's see here. Let's go to the next one. Oh, Australia.
Hey Dave, Australia here. Good job keeping it fair on Rachael, and I'm not a Rachael fan, so good job keeping it fair. I think you're giving the support that's needed. But, people have the right to improve themselves and get better, but the person who was hurt by the previous person's actions has the right to also have time to heal. And saying that, Matt James should have the right to heal on his own without having to forgive immediately, because this was something that would have hurt people in his community as well. Maybe he just needs to think about it, so people should give him the chance.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It's going to take plenty of time to unravel what all just went down in the public's eye.
Hey Dave, Australia again. I just wanted to react to you saying, you don't like people conflating what you're saying, nor do I. And I think that's a sign of their that's on them, not you. It does not representative of you. I think why people tune into your content, and I've been a fan of your content since day one, and I love watching it grow. And it's because you've always given a fair approach, and your fair approach I've adopted it, and it's helped me throughout my relationships. And I just had a therapy session today, and you're giving the same type of advice and the same type of level-headedness. So everyone else can stick it. Anyway, have a nice day.
Thank you so much for calling in there. One of our favorite people in Australia. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, Jessica in Florida. Let's go right to it.
Hey, this is Jessica from Florida. I haven't finished the live stream completely yet. I'm listening to it while I'm walking the dog. But I was going to say for Matt's mom just to say one sentence and it threw him through a loop. I understand the show emphasizes the parents and I want to see my parents accept you. And it's I don't know. value my parents' opinion, but sometimes, you have somebody really good, and even though they know you better than anybody else, it doesn't mean that we just run with what our parents say. I mean, there's also, Peter. Wait, am I saying Peter right? When his mom was just crazy, Barb or whatever her name was.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a mom that I love, but she also gets very involved in my relationship. She got me married, and I had to kind of tell her, Mom, you can't know everything about my relationship. She accepts it. She loves my husband loves my family, and I kept a healthy relationship between everybody. This show emphasizes too much on the parents' opinion.
Thank you so much. You're right. I totally agree. I don't know. That was kind of hard for people to hear, but you said basically the show values too much the parents' opinion. Parents have their best intentions, but they're usually wanting you to play it super safe. And I don't think you need to. Like, I think it's okay if you're going to go on the show. I don't think it's the worst case scenario to get engaged with somebody and then maybe it doesn't work out at the end. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think it's the worst case scenario to be like, oh, it's now or never. It's like, yeah, I get it, but people won't fault you if, I don't know. There's a lot of theatrics involved, and parents don't always help that.
Hi, Dave. It's Kristen from Rhode Island.
Hi.
Wow, that was a very depressing woman tell-all. I think those conversations need to happen, but I definitely don't think the show is no longer the guilty pleasure that it used to be. I loved Emilio Acho. I thought he did a very fair and balanced interview, and he asked all the important questions. I am curious to know if something else happened behind the scenes with Matt and Rachael. I know I brought up in the past Ben Shapiro, who, I'm not always a fan of, but I did agree with one of his earlier points that Matt seemed to change his tune in regards to Rachel's racist behavior. And, his initial statement from she needs to be careful to what she posts on social media to his reaction on this after the final rose where he was seething. I would be very curious to know what their conversations were like behind.
Just going to jump in right in the center of your voicemail. Thank you so much for the call. I always appreciate my Rhode Island family out there. I think the issue is we need to understand that Matt is learning and growing too. So he's allowed to change his opinion on the matter too.
Maybe he was trying to protect her and didn't want to, reveal.
Oh, I lost you there. Oh, geez, sorry.
Emotionally distant from Michelle. I didn't really appreciate his response to Michelle. I don't think her being a strong Black woman has anything to do with their breakup. Her having grace, like he said, has anything to do with their breakup. I think she's a lot more than that. I mean, she's molding the future generation. So I just kind of felt like he was using, attention grabbing words and trying to say the right thing to get through the breakup. And I was just like, just give the girl closure. Like, she's so much more than like this caricature that you're describing. And that's why she's the new Bachelorette, even though she was only on the show, for a few weeks. So I didn't really appreciate that. And that's it. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much. You got it so right with Michelle. I mean, she's going to be a national treasure. She really is. So he missed out on that one. By the way, if your voicemails are over a minute long, I can't play them. I'm only playing voicemails that are at or around a minute or less.
Hi, Dave. This is Sherry from New Jersey. I just wanted to say that from the beginning, I noticed that Matt was a very articulate person, and I think this was an advantage for him, but also a disadvantage where he was able to waffle a lot of really difficult questions. He knew exactly what to say to bypass, commitment or like promising something in the future. And so I think that was very indicative in this after the final rose, where, he was asked a lot of questions, in regards to his relationships and, him providing closure for the women. And he was unable to, either unable or very willingly able and, very deliberate in that and avoiding those questions and, providing that closure that Rachael and Michelle both needed. And just because of Rachel's history, I feel like that doesn't negate the fact that she also had a relationship with him where she probably needed closure just as much as Michelle did and how she needed closure as well. And I felt like the way that Matt handled those two different, two relationships differently was a little bit of a disappointment. But anyway, that's my thought. Thanks.
Thank you so much for calling in. Always love my New Jersey family. Yeah, you're right. Here's the deal. He didn't give any closure to Rachael, and Rachael still thinks she's got a shot with him. So does she or does she not? I mean, I really don't know. I don't know if Rachael's got a shot with him, but we'll have to find out. I mean, what happens? Does she do the work for 6 months or 12 months? At what point does she get the ability to move on? We'll have to see.
Hi, Dave. This is Natalie from Michigan. I love how consistent you are with your content. Last night's finale was brutal for me to watch, and I just felt like this season was a total waste of time, which sucks because I was really looking forward to a better season than Peter's.
Yes.
But it just seems like the Bachelors chosen are not ready at all for this commitment and are just taking the job for exposure. Yep. Compared to the Bachelorette, and the Bachelor can't even compare. It just overall leads to more lasting relationships, and the Bachelorette seem more level-headed and consistent. My question is, how do you think the producers can improve the quality and the outcome of the Bachelor series? Do you think that they should just cast older men, or is there something else and something more that they can do to help improve that? Thank you. Looking forward to your live stream. Bye.
Thank you so much. Great question. What can they do to improve it? They need to change the business model that they think they've got this, this is the way it works. This is how we find success. And there's different ways to skin the cat. There's different ways to get ratings. Oprah proved this. Oprah built a gigantic empire off of positive energy. So it's not necessarily boring to watch people fall in love. There can still be some drama that happens. Someone pops some champagne and spills it over themselves. There can still be some drama. You don't need to put your foot on the scale of the drama. It's going to show up regardless. They're worried too much about drama, that every episode being this mega sweeps. We got an escort. We got this. We got Queen Victoria. It's just let the show play out. I think people will stay around for it.
Hey, this is Emily calling from Boise, Idaho,
Hi, Emily.
and I'm going to make it quick, I promise. But I was just wondering what you think this aftermath of Rachael and Matt and all this is going to be. Do you think they're going to try and kind of stay out of the spotlight, or do you see Rachael continuing to keep trying to put in the work to educate herself, or I don't know. What do you think?
Well, that's a good question. And as I'm pulling up a video right now, I think Rachael is putting in the work. I mean, we don't know exactly what that work is always going to look like other than the performative side that we get to see. Of course, performative being the fact that, whatever she posts on social media is just all we have real access to. But, there was a unfortunate incident yesterday, mass shooting. 6 people out of the 8 were Asian American women, and she posted about that today. Shining light on a lot of these issues that are happening out there. It is something. It's performative, but it is something, and it's a start.
Hi, Dave. It's Natalie from Michigan. I realized that the voicemail I left earlier was a little long, so I just wanted to ask you again in a shorter way. How do you think the producers can improve the quality?
I already played your call. Yeah, the producers. I already answered your question. Then, thank you. Sorry, should have deleted the first one.
Hi, my name is Cassandra. I'm from Connecticut, and I was just watching your finale recap video, and I wanted to note what I think Matt was trying to say by what he doesn't want to be responsible for. He doesn't want to be responsible for Rachel's emotions. The marginalized person, there's a lot of pressure to constantly coach everyone in your life through your identity and what hurts you. And Matt signed on for a partner, not like a passion project. So I understand and respect that he doesn't want to be an educator here. It shouldn't be expected of every marginalized person. And he's getting a lot of backlash for that, so I kind of think that's what he was referencing. Either way, I admire him a lot and respect him for making very difficult decisions. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
For me, as a codependent, I find it so hard for someone like Matt to say, I'm not responsible for someone else's tears because I'm just some pushover who's always want to be like, I'll save you. But that's very interesting. You said he wants a partner, not a passion project. Very interesting. Thank you so much for that.
Dave, it's Barrett from the small city of Chicago.
Oh, hello there.
I honestly could not help but feel a little twinge of sadness for Rachael last night. You said it. It was clear that she lost a bunch of weight. I don't know if you noticed, but she actually was breaking out in rashes also. And I don't know. I was just feeling a little bad for her because I feel like her life is pretty much, over. Anytime anyone ever Googles her, this is going to be the first thing that comes up. And last night, like on Twitter, I was on Twitter and it was nothing but negativity towards her and how much everyone hates her. And I don't know, like, it's just hard to see what she did was wrong. What she did obviously was not okay. But I don't know. It's hard to see someone absolutely fall apart and absolutely get just hate, and no end in sight. Also, Matt was so weird last night. I was like, what the heck? Honestly, I did not like Matt. I don't know. He was so awkward with Michelle. He was so weird with Rachael, and I think things happened behind the scenes, but I don't know. And the fact that he didn't even let Michelle talk to him, no, I don't like it. No. I don't like him that much. Anyways, have a good day. Thank you so much for getting me through this season, and bye.
Thank you so much. That was Barrett from the small town of, I think it's pronounced Chicago, Illinois. And you're right about a lot of things there. You're right about a lot of things. Here's the quickest voicemail we have.
Hey, Dave, this is Kathy in Isle of Wight, Virginia. Thumbs down to Matt.
I love a good, quick voicemail, if nothing else.
Hey, Dave. My name is Lily, and I'm from Utah. I am just calling because I really feel like Matt James really wasn't feeling it towards the end of the season. My friends and I actually noticed that it seemed like he was kind of forcing his feelings for the women and forcing his excitement for the show. And then at the very last episode, you kind of saw a switch go on where he just looked so uncomfortable. And for us, it kind of solidified our belief that he was kind of forcing feelings and auditioning during the season. And I really feel like he just blew the whole thing with Rachael way out of proportion, to be honest. I come from a minority group, and I think the way that he spoke to her during the final rose was very disrespectful. And she seems very apologetic, very willing to learn, and he just kind of did not care. And I really think it's because he just realized he didn't really like her, and he used this to his advantage. So I could be totally off, but that's just what I think.
Well, thank you so much for that phone call. I really appreciate you there in Utah calling in. That was Lily in Utah. And to answer the question earlier about what's going to become of Rachael if you Google her, it's like, yeah, I think most people exist in a world where they understand she did something wrong and she's grown from it. I think you'll find, and I could be wrong, but I've talked to some people that have become like villains on the show, and I know this is a little different, but generally speaking, people are nice to people. People are nice to people. You see them on the street, they're nice to them. There aren't many cases where unless you're some like evil politician or someone where like people are just spewing vitriol at you. I think most people will realize, boy, this girl has been through hell and back, and she's going to take some time to regroup from all that. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dave, this is Joanna. I'm from South Jersey. My one question is Matt James denying his whiteness, and how does that make his mom feel? Just questioning.
Thank you for the question. This is a very sensitive question to ask, or I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but from what I've heard and from what I've learned, you center yourself in a different way, right? So he's got a white mom and a dad who's from, I could be wrong. I'm not going to say what country in Africa because I can't remember off the top of my head, but I thought he was Nigerian. I could be wrong. He doesn't have the pleasure of coming off white to strangers. So that's kind of the answer to that. If he walks into a 7-Eleven, he's not Matt James with a white mom. He's a black guy. And he's unfortunately judged based on the color of his skin by strangers and people that are bigoted and people that think differently of people of different skin colors. So that's a luxury his mom knows he doesn't have.
Hey Dave, this is Jessica from Florida. I'm giving you a call again. I'm walking my dog the second time today. Even though she's 4 pounds and a Maltese, things are walking. Not she'll act up in the house. Oh, somebody's watching me talk on the phone. anyways, I was gonna say that we just finished I just finished your live stream, and I could see how like bummed out you were at the end. And you said it before that overall high percentage really do understand about Rachel and overall the picture that the opinion that you're putting out there, and we understand you. So sorry, or not sorry, I don't know, because it wasn't me, but I feel bad that people in the comments get a little snippy about what you say. Ultimately, I know you care about both sides, and you do paint a bigger picture. So just keep doing it. We understand you. Your fans understand you, and keep at it.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, if anyone watches the live stream, it was like 1 a.m. and I was just like, oh, I was more frustrated than sad because I was like, this is when you try to have difficult conversations, people are just going to cross-examine you. And I think we need to cross-examine people's intentions. And I accept criticism. You'll watch me. I can accept criticism. But that was in response to being told I was attacking Matt. It's like, I've been a fan of Matt all season,
Hi, Dave. This is Anonymous from Florida.
Hi.
Love your show. Wanted to say 3 things. First of all, while Rachael needs to do the work, which she does, I think Matt does too.
Yes.
He needs to do the work emotionally. He clearly has issues from his childhood that he needs to work through. He was completely emotionally shut off in the interview last night. There was no embrace. He pulled away from Rachael when she tried to hold his hand. He needs to do some work as well. Secondly, I wanted to mention Rachel's ethnicity. She is half Honduran, half white.
Doesn't matter.
Serena P. is half Indian, half white. So really, each of his final 4 were mixed race, but people keep saying that Rachael is white, but she's actually not. And lastly, I just want to know why Emmanuel Acho's coat was so tight. I know he has big muscles, but they need to work on sizing his jacket.
Hey, that's
all.
Thank you so much for your call. Anonymous in Florida, I appreciate your call. I understand your intentions are well. I hear it in your voice. When it comes to him picking multiracial contestants as his finale, and Rachel's dad being from Honduras, like we said before, she gets the privilege of walking around as a white chick from Georgia. That's kind of what it comes down to. So we don't, but I understand what you're saying there. And thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Selma in Ontario.
Hi, this is Selma from Toronto, Ontario. Honestly, I feel really bad. Okay, not really bad, but I kind of feel bad for Rachael for everything that's happened with her. She made a mistake a couple of years back, and it was stupid and it was ignorant, but who in university isn't stupid and ignorant, right? And I know that ignorance is not a good excuse, but she's in this place where everybody, is yelling at her and freaking out at her for what she's done, and hasn't really thought about how this has changed her life, or the fact that she never really intentionally tried to hurt anybody, as well as the fact that if she was really racist, she wouldn't have wanted to date a black guy in the first place. I just think it all went out of proportion, and I know that she should have learned everything and sort of done research herself back then, but she's trying, and I feel like this has just gone way too far for her. I don't know.
I appreciate your call, and it's hard when it comes down to public shaming and people piling on. You do wonder if she has sort of paid the price for a lot of other people's ignorance. Do you know what I mean? So absolutely. When it comes down to how could she be racist for ending up with a black guy? That's not an argument you can really make. It just doesn't really line up. You can be racist and end with, it's not that's not a real strong argument, but I do appreciate your phone call. And I do think that she has paid the price for other people that have made mistakes as well. And it doesn't mean she didn't deserve some sort of equal and opposite reaction to her initial things. But what we do have to remember is that we can separate how we think she should be punished from also understanding that Matt has a lot to go through too. It's not one versus the other. Thank you so much for the call. Let's go to Lorena in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, Dave. It's Lorena. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm so disappointed. This could have been a very big learning opportunity. If he really loved her the way that he said he loved her, then he could have sat her down and really just explained the dynamics of being black in America. and he could have made this a huge learning moment for the white audience that The Bachelor brings in. But the way that he kind of just dismissed her, and he's never been in love before, so it kind of was just like, okay, cool, like, kind of never been in love before, so you don't know that feeling. So honestly, I don't feel he was really ready to get married to begin with. But anyway, that's my my gist. But thank you. I love you so much, Dave. Bye.
Oh, Lorraine and Atlanta, thank you so much. Look, we can't ask Matt to do something that he's not comfortable doing. And if he would have been comfortable having that conversation, he would have, and he's just not there. So unfortunately, it was a missed opportunity.
Good morning, my friend. This is Miss Ann from Minnesota.
Miss Ann.
I just want to thank you for all the thoughtful commentary you have given us. It's all right on. I'm heartbroken for Rachael and Matt, and I hope they're surrounded by loving, compassionate people.
Oh, thank you.
All I know is life isn't easy, but we all try our best. And Michelle, wow, I think she would be a great governor. She's got my vote. And I have to tell you, my 32-year-old daughter is replanning their whole, and her fiance are replanning their whole wedding right now, too. So I hear you. And my son, we didn't raise a dummy. He decided to work remotely in Hawaii.
Wow.
Since Christmas, he's been there. So have a great day, and I love all your work.
Oh, thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
Miss Ann. How sweet of you. Our friend Miss Ann, former teacher, I believe, right? Retired teacher, Miss Ann. And as you guys know, I'm just starting the work of planning my wedding, my fiance, and it's our anniversary today, 7 years today. Tasha's going to come visit me on another video, but we've got our Patreon here if anyone wants to check out. I think we're going to talk about our wedding planning on the Patreon. I think we're going to make that a private thing, just because it's like, it's not something we want to share with the world. But if you really want, maybe we'll make that a tiered plan, and we'll just talk to people as we plan the wedding, talk to photographers, events, locations, and let everyone, because we didn't want to plan it during the pandemic because we don't know when things are going to end. So we're just kind of waiting to see. There might be good deals on destination weddings when the world opens back up. Who knows? We'll see.
Hi, Dave. Debbie here from Santa Rosa, California.
Hi, Debbie.
On the show last night, I was struck at just how damaged Matt is to pass up Rachel's love. I was also struck at how this relationship show embodies the human condition, even in its confines. I learned so much from it in relation to racism and how much it cuts to the bone. I really, really enjoy you and Tosh. Keep up the good work. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much. I'll be the first one that loves to talk about the human condition. And that's why we talk about the show. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I love talking about the human condition on stage. And the show is a good through line for that, because we can all watch the same thing and have a million different thoughts about it all. So yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Dave. Gabby from Germany here.
Hi, Gabby. Dankeschön.
Well, I just finished watching after the final rose, and I am half an hour into your live stream, and I just want to say my thoughts on this. I don't think Matt was actually ready for any serious relationship, and what I don't understand is why would someone go into a dating show when you're actually not ready? Maybe he thought he was, but obviously he wasn't. And another thing for me is with Rachel's story. I also don't believe that he actually had really deep feelings for Rachel, and the fact that he gave up on being with her, giving her a second chance, was a little unfair. This is just my opinion. Everyone deserves a second chance, and he just wasn't willing to give that to Rachael. And I think that says a lot about how he felt about her before. So, well, that's all I have for now. I wish you a great week, and I will, I'm looking forward for your pizza Thursday.
Yes. Do they have good pizza
Bye
in
now.
Germany? Bye, Gabby. Thank you so much for calling in from Germany. No, you're right. I mean, chances are Matt just didn't like her enough. Maybe they were doing long distance, and then one day he woke up and he goes, what the hell am I doing? I don't need any of this. And maybe that was it. Maybe the love wasn't strong enough. Thank you so
Hi,
much,
Dave.
Gabby.
This is Grace from Atlanta. I wanted to call, and I'll try and keep this short, but First off, I just wanted to say whoever decided to have a 3-hour episode 2 days after the time changed and we lost an hour of sleep is an asshole. Number two, I think Emmanuel Acho did a really great job moderating and hosting that night. I do think that it was a real missed opportunity by The Bachelor to not have Chris Harrison go on his YouTube show and plug that at the end of the episode, because I think squeezing Chris into like a 10-minute segment would have done it. Wouldn't have been enough. But I think that they could have helped both drive Emmanuel Acho's audience as well as bring forth a conversation about race with Chris Harrison, because I honestly think that Chris Harrison's response to it was what caused more of the outrage as opposed to Rachael's posting of the pictures. Both were bad, but I think it was Chris's absolutely horrible response that really ended up sparking as much outrage as it did. Either way, I think Emmanuel Acho did a great job, and I bought his book because of you, so thank you, and all your coverage is great. Bye.
Well, thank you so much, and you're so right. On so many, this was a great voicemail. You really nailed it. They shouldn't have had a 3-hour show 2 days. No wonder I was so cranky. They had a 3-hour show 2 days after daylight savings. I lost an hour. And then at the same time, yes, Chris Harrison should have gone on with Manuel Acho. I don't blame Chris. I think he's locked into his contract, and this wasn't an opportunity for him. I think it's all about money with ABC and The Bachelor, and they didn't want to send him to somebody else's YouTube channel. It was a huge missed opportunity. You're absolutely right. They could have had a long conversation. The whole thing was a missed opportunity at growth.
I'm calling from Michigan. I think that the whole stupid Bachelor was dumb. I don't think he really loved her, because if you love someone, you work with someone. You don't hang them out to dry. I was very disappointed. I watch it as entertainment. I have watched it for 20 years, since the very first Bachelor. And I'm in my 70s, so I thought he was horrible, because he didn't give her a chance. He did not love her. All he cared about was whether he's a black Bachelor. Thank you.
He really ended it with a hard B on that Black Bachelor. Yikes. All right, moving along. Indiana.
I'm calling from Indiana. I feel that Matt James wasn't what he was trying to portray himself as. He's worried about what the black people say. He's worried about what... I just was very disappointed. I'm very frustrated with the whole situation. If you love someone, you care for someone. If you want to change, you work for the change. Just saying that because she did something 3 years ago, she said she didn't do it right. Okay, change it. It's in the past. Let's go. Let's look for the future. How are we going to change the future? That's what he should be concerned about, and he wasn't. So he wasn't everything he's cracked up to be, and he came from a mixed marriage anyway. So he should see both sides to some extent. He's not the only one in the world. Thank you.
Indiana calling in. Very.
I was just shocked by the fact that Matt did not give Michelle. It didn't. Yeah, I was surprised that Matt did not honor Michelle's request of giving her 2 minutes just so that she could have her closure that she needed. I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah.
However, I do understand where Matt was coming from. It's like she has to grow on her own. So that Rachael had to grow on her own and learn. And I get why he was like, the fact that he had to explain the magnitude of why what she did hurt was shocking. So I just think he was comfortable with that. But the way he treated Michelle kind of just looked like if he let her on was kind of a shock. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. I think production has something to do with it, but we can't know for sure.
Hopefully there's a...
Okay, here we go. Got to go to calls under a minute. Oh, look, we're not going to get through them all. We're not even close. All right, let's go to our last call here. One last call here, and I'm going to have to either make a part 2 or something for... Look, I'll make a part 2. If people want to keep watching, I'll make a part 2, but my day's running short, so part 2 is going to have to come out tomorrow. So let's go here. Hopefully we can end on a good one from Arkansas. Let's talk to Caitlin.
Hey Dave, this is Caitlin. I'm calling from Searcy, Arkansas. Just wanted to first say I love your channel.
Thank you.
And then I also just wanted to comment on the after the final rose and just say what a good job that Emmanuel Acho did. I think he was very empathetic, listened, just a great host overall. I just can't believe. I think the best quote would be from Hermione on Harry Potter, that you have the emotional range of a teaspoon when talking to these women. Like, no, just didn't seem to care when Michelle was talking or Rachael was talking. I just think it was just a crazy episode. WTF for sure. Thanks. Bye.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to end on that one. I don't want to make this episode any longer than it has to be. I will make a part 2 to these voicemails because I didn't get to them all. The voicemails, if you're still listening, I really appreciate that. They don't do as well as the other videos because they're not as targeted, but I do want to give you guys a chance to share your opinions. And I know people are going to completely disagree with so many different opinions. Some people think Chris Harrison came off horrible. Some people think that the whole thing's overblown. The point is that we respect each other's opinions and know that we all come from different places. And we're all going to try our best to keep it civil and listen to each other and understand that our opinion is just our response to all the information we've put together from a place where we've come from. So if someone else has a different opinion, you can agree to disagree, but at the same time, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt that their opinion is rooted in a truth from the world as they see it. Anyway, guys, as I said, we've got the live stream tomorrow, which will be at 1 p.m. Get your pizza ready. And also, if anyone wants to join the Patreon, you can. It's patreon.com/thesap. And it's a membership community. I do private episodes, and I do a whole extra weekly episode there. It's a good way to support the channel. I appreciate every one of you. Bye now. See you guys later.